The Dorkening and all affiliated shows are not intended for anyone under the age of 18. The following may contain discussions or scenes that have adult situations, graphic violence, nudity, strong sexual content, and graphic language. This show is intended for mature audiences only. Viewer discretion is advised.
Persons under 18 will not be admitted.
I'm choosing to ignore the cuts and bumps and bruises. I'm cruising through these haters, leave them looking stupid. They foolish if they think they'll ever hear my conclusion. I'm through with all these part-timers and their excuses. I'm bruising eagles left and right every time I do this. I'm shooting for the top, no I'll never settle where you did. The future's in my hands, my grip will never lose it. My crew is ready to obtain the absolution, removing any doubt that we was ever fooling.
What's happening, everybody? Welcome to another kick-ass episode of Still Toking with July 29th, 2026. The end of the birthday month for America. 250 years. What a better way to end the month with somebody who is literally living their American dream. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to steal anybody's thunder tonight. And speaking of thunder, he looks a little bit like lightning. The flashy one himself, Mr. Jeffrey Mark.
Lightning and thunder. Ooh. Hi,
Boom, boom.
Yeah, we have a great guest because this man, besides being one of the nicest people in show business on any part of it, is an incredible interviewer, an incredible author. He works for the largest radio station, actual real terrestrial radio station in the United States. I've been blessed to be a guest on his show several times. I've enjoyed every second. You're going to enjoy every second of our talk today with my buddy, Steve Dale.
How do I live up to that? I'm not sure that I can.
Yes,
How
you
you doing,
can.
guys?
Welcome. So you said terrestrial or extraterrestrial?
Radio that is actually still beamed through the airwaves is called terrestrial radio. I
know that. I was being a smart ass.
Gotcha.
Extraterrestrial. Aliens. Never mind.
Right past my sparkles.
The thunder and lightning got him.
Yes.
Well, I've interviewed a lot of people, as you guys have. So far, to my knowledge, I have yet to interview an alien. But I'll tell you that since we're on the topic, since I brought it up, you might ask of all the people I've spoken to, and I'll ask Ben, Jeffrey, the same question as I take over this conversation already. I'm curious as to who the very favorite people you have spoken to, and I'll tell you who my very favorite is. I've been fortunate. I mean, everyone from, in my case, Elizabeth Taylor to Jimmy Stewart, Jeffrey knows Lucille Ball many times, and many others. Who is your favorite, Ben?
I have 7 seasons of favorites.
Ooh,
every guest that I've had the pleasure to talk to, whether they were A-list actors or rock and roll Hall of Fame musicians, or the guy next door that was incarcerated for murder that never committed it. Every show has a favorite point in it. So I can't pick one. This show is my favorite.
So that's a cop out if I've ever heard one.
Yes, it is. But if I had to put somebody up there, I would say Dee Wallace was a great interview. Adrienne Barbeau was an amazing interview. Eric Roberts, Gina Shock from the Go-Go's, all the way down to Stoner Rob, who's a 420 style comedian, and the 420 comedian. So it's so hard. It's so hard to pick one. I mean, Lucy Arnaz was amazing. Jeffrey Mark was a great guest.
That's why I'm a co-host now.
That one time. Yeah, but I only liked one. No, I'm just kidding.
So Dee Wallace, in fact, may have interviewed an extraterrestrial. That is possible. Jeffrey, who's your favorite, or who are your favorites?
To interview on the air, to interview for a book or something like that, or just who have I talked to that's my favorite, who's a celebrity?
All the above.
Let's see. My favorite celebrity I've ever spoken to is Lucille Ball. My favorite celebrity Why?
Mm-hmm.
This is going to sound very self-important. I don't mean for it to. I got to talk to her and ask her a question about her work. And when I finished the question, before she answered, she said, "Young man," which tells you how long ago this was, "Young man, that is the best question anyone has ever asked me about my work."
What was the question?
Also made her laugh. Like, I made her laugh. Yay. All right. My comedy career is now secure.
What was the question?
Miss Ball, your good friend Jack Benny said the reason that people tune into sitcoms is because the lead actors do shtick that is repeated. It isn't the same every week, but they have a revolving door of shtick they do. I said, you gave up 2 of them. The crying jag, and what was in the scripts called the spider, when she went, ugh.
Yeah.
I said, why did you give them up? And her answer to me was, that was the best question anybody ever asked her.
And what was her reply?
Because of the writers. She did not put crying jags into scripts. She did not say, I'm going to do the spider on this line. It was in the script in big black bold letters. And if they didn't put it in, she didn't do it.
Yeah, and that is a good question. Although she did do the ew in the Lucy show
once.
Yes. Do you remember the scene?
She had bought for Mr. Mooney an anniversary present for his wife. That was this ugly long cat ceramic thing. And she broke it. And she went chinka, chinka, chinka. Ugh. And the audience didn't respond. And they never did it again.
They did it, I think. By the way, high five to you.
Thank you.
I think she did it once on Life with Lucy.
Almost did it. It was in a script that was not produced.
Which one was it? Do you know which show?
It was a show that was never made. It was
there
were scripts written and ahead of a whole season.
Yeah,
but that sound only came from a script that they never even put on its feet.
Yeah. And Ben, since you asked, my favorite person I did hear that. My favorite person I did to ever speak with, Lucy would be number 2. And I was fortunate. I interviewed her 5, 6, 7 times. I don't know. If the spirit moved me, I would call her secretary, Wanda,
who just passed away.
Yeah. And she would set it up. And I'll tell you one of the biggest regrets I ever made, and how I made that good with Wanda. But Lucy would be number 2. Number 1 for me. And she would be number 2 because we had real conversations. I mean, if you interview with someone once or twice, but by 6 or 7 times, and sometimes whenever she came to Chicago. So I was so fortunate, and she called me. I don't know that she remembered my name, in all honesty, but she remembered me because I was the nice young man, young at that time, from Chicago. But my favorite person ever, who I, again, fortunate to speak with multiple times, Dr. Jane Goodall.
Oh,
no
good
one
for you. I mean, I can't imagine the conversations. That must be amazing.
No one, well, some of them are available still to listen to at WGNradio.com. Or you can go to my YouTube page and watch one of them, at least one we videotaped. When she walked into a room, there was an aura about her. And she would, when she spoke to me or anyone personally, or to a crowd of thousands of people, she spoke in a very soft voice, but yet she was screaming at us. And I'm not sure enough of us paid enough attention to what she was saying, but absolutely the most, if there was a saint on the planet, a living saint, it was her.
Wonderful. Steve, of all of those, we're making lists here. Milton Berle would love this conversation. He loved top 10, top 3. He loved sitting at a table eating and making up lists about show business. From whom did you learn the most?
That's a damn good question.
I thought so.
Me too.
It was. One, and I don't think I've ever been asked that. One conversation in particular, although several conversations with Oprah. Whenever, at that point, I was covering entertainment in Chicago. For the Tribune, I had a column called Celebrity Watch. And I was writing about things happening in Chicago entertainment-wise for USA Today, which was then a startup. And also People Magazine, they had the Chatter column at the back. But when there was a feature that involved someone from Chicago, I wrote the feature or co-authored the feature. And Oprah, of course, several times. I mean, she lived in Chicago at that time, and pretty much for several years, wherever she was, I was, we knew one another. She knew me by name, etc. I don't know that she'd remember me today, but at that point she did. And on one occasion, and I still remember so distinctly because it changed my life, actually, what she told me. We were at Navy Pier in Chicago. It was a big anniversary party. Don't remember, second year, maybe third year, early on in her show. And, everyone in Chicago was there. And some other celebrities were there too. She invited, I don't remember who. But she said, got to talk to you. And she pulled me aside. And Oprah is one might say vertically impaired. I'm not particularly, and Oprah's a tall lady. So she's this, tall lady, and I'm not all that. And sort of an imposing person and she's pulling me aside. She takes me outdoors away from everyone else at the party. And she looks at me and I see tears. And whatever publication it was, an Inquirer type publication, if it wasn't them, I don't know who it was, had written a piece about her that was hateful, as they tended to do. Maybe they still do. I don't know if those publications are still around, in all honesty, but at that point in time, they certainly were. And they wrote a nasty, nasty story about her. And I don't remember the details of the story or whatever that might be. I think Joan Rivers was at this party too, by the way, for whatever reason. Anyway, she said, "Do you think, Steve, I am making a difference in what I do?" And she's crying as she's saying this to me. And I said, "Of course you make a difference." And at that point, her shows weren't quite always as inspirational. You know, she was sometimes doing a Jerry Springer type thing, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that's what she did at the beginning, if we think back. But she would sneak in all these programs that were, in fact, quite inspirational. And I said, absolutely, you make a difference. You've changed so many lives. I don't remember exactly what I said, but I do remember how she responded. She said, well, what I've learned is if you don't enjoy what you're doing and don't feel you're making a difference in the world, you probably shouldn't be doing it. And she thanked me. She hugged me. Good hugger. And I remember that because years later, just a couple of years later, when I was asked by People magazine to do, one of the producers on the show was Breaking Bad and wanted to tell all about Oprah. Now, I don't know what they had to tell, but I knew some stuff. And I didn't want to write that stuff. And I didn't want to write. It's the kind of thing that, true or not, I have no idea. I never worked on the Ellen DeGeneres show. But so people have a framework of reference. It was that kind of thing. You know, she was this way behind the scenes or whatever. Mm. And her personal life was this or this or this. And I started working on the story for about a minute. And I called People magazine and I said, I'm just not doing this story. I had done one interview. I didn't file the interview. And I said, I'm just not going to do that story. And around the same time, I had been writing about pets, which is a passion for me. Mm-hmm. I was offered to do the syndicated newspaper column for the Chicago Tribune Company, which would appear in newspapers all over the country. Newspapers, remember them?
Absolutely.
And what made me say yes to that was the advice Oprah gave me at that party, because that is something I always wanted to do. I thought I could make a difference. I had a dog who you'd call a rescue dog today. That term wasn't around then, but that's essentially what she was. And she had everything wrong. I mean, she had huge separation anxiety issues. For example, when I went to the bathroom to do what you do in there, I closed the door and she did the same thing on the other side of the door. She was she was not socialized. She came from the country. I live in the big city in the heart of Chicago. And she was afraid of buses and we live on a bus route. She was afraid of other people. She was afraid of other dogs, afraid of fire hydrants even. So the good news is she was so afraid, everything in her came out as soon as she went outside. So it was easy to house train her if she didn't do it inside when I went to the bathroom, and she did too. But it was a tough dog, you know, and I worked through it. Veterinary behaviorists did not exist. The psychopharmaceuticals today we can use to help dogs did not exist for dogs. So what did I do? You know, I talked to some dog trainers, and I'm so grateful that I got some great advice from some great people. But we worked through it. And this dog was like, if her name wasn't, but could have been Lassie, and I might have been Timmy, fell in a well, and this dog would have rescued me. And she became an animal assisted therapy dog, helping other people in hospitals, etc. And none of this would have happened if I didn't. So I thought, if I can have a relationship like this with my animal, then I want to help other people, and thought about what Oprah told me.
Well,
Wow.
You're an amazing man.
No, I'm not. I'm not that. No. So you guys gave me a mandate. Ben, you did. Jeffrey, you did too. Before we began, you said I have to have bourbon. Did I hear you right?
Yes.
Yes.
Or beer. One
there
or the
you
other.
go.
Yeah. You know, the truth is, I'll give a plug. Sad truth, shocking news. I went to my fridge. There was no cold beer in the fridge.
Aww.
So this is not a bad second choice.
Yeah, but I told you had 7 minutes to get whatever you wanted to drink.
You did.
You live in the heart of Chicago, because we can hear people outside beeping their horn going, "Get the fuck out of the way."
No, Chicagoans would not say that. No.
Hey, listen, I've been there once. I was on a work I was on a work trip probably almost 30 years ago.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, I would one of the top floors of the hotel, I saw the best lightning storm ever.
Wow.
Out over the lake. I was up closer towards the lake edge, but it was the first time I ever ate at Dick's Last Resort. I mean, I had a blast, and I was like, wow, people here actually are nice when they drive. Come to Boston. They'll run you the fuck over. Over. But anyways, you literally
love Chicago. Just love
you could have run down the stairs out the front door, and I bet you there's a Packy within 3 or 4 buildings.
I have no idea what a Packy is, except maybe
a liquor store.
A what?
A liquor store.
We don't have those.
Where do you buy your beer? Oh, at Walmart. That's right.
No, we don't have Walmart in this city. Please. Yeah, you're right to shake your head. I mean, it's disgusting. But I could have gone out to get a beer, but instead you said I could choose bourbon. So
you can. So you were talking a little bit about, your dog and stuff. At what point did you become a certified animal behavior consultant?
So when I took the newspaper column, I quickly realized, and coincidentally spoke about this very issue today, the number one, it's a trivia question for both of you. The number one reason dogs or cats also die in America, have any idea?
Neglect?
Being in a shelter.
You both came at it from a different direction, and essentially you're kind of right. So people would say generally, even when I speak at veterinary meetings, kidney disease or cancers or something like that. And it's true, they are a problem. Number one reason actually is behavior or perceived bad behavior. Perceived because the dog or cat or any pet is just dealing with whatever they are dealing with in the only way they know how. I mean, no animal gets up in the morning and says, I want to piss off my person and act like I'm afraid when they leave the house, or I'm afraid of thunderstorms or anything like that. I'm going to miss the litter box because they were out of town for 3 weeks. That doesn't happen in the way people think it happens sometimes. But it is true that when the human-animal bond fractures, that animal is likely to land in a shelter. And therefore, that is still the number one cause of death in our dogs and cats. And well, I was asked, because one of the columns I did, a twice weekly column, one was a feature story, but the other was a Q&A. And people from all over the country, sometimes all over the world, would ask me questions. And I would go to experts to get the answers. And the questions most often received had to do with behavior in one way or another. So it was an interest of mine. I happened to minor in college in psychology. So I had kind of a head start there of sorts and became more and more educated. I was fortunate because I was able, because of the reach of the Tribune, when the Tribune calls at that time, people answered the phone. So I was able to talk to the very best in America, really the best in the world, which included veterinary behaviorists, the guys or women who wrote the book literally for other veterinarians to read. And I've been fortunate since then to participate in those books, those very books that I've contributed to them. But that's many, many years later. And at that point in time, I soaked up all the knowledge I could by going to veterinary conferences and all the rest. And when the International Association of Animal Behavior Consultants was launched, I was grandfathered in because of my contributions and my knowledge and yada, yada, yada. So you do have to jump through hoops to become one of those. But I am so lucky that I've been able to help so many people, or so it seems, by answering questions on the radio, on television, and in newspaper columns, and these days on my blog.
And writing books.
And writing books. What a transition to
And writing books.
Well, do you want to talk about your earlier books, or we want to talk about your most recent ones?
I think the most recent one I have out, because to me it's the most important. Maybe your newest baby's always you author books, Jeffrey, so I don't know how you feel, but the newest one out is your latest baby, and that's, it occurred to me. So here's what happened. Here's the story. I'm walking right that way down the street where I live. And with our geriatric dog at that point in time, about 2 years ago, dog is sniffing at the grass, just minding her own business. And I'm just standing there, la, la, la. A lot of dogs in our neighborhood. One of the reasons why I love this neighborhood. A lot of dogs in Chicago in general. And this lady is standing right next to me with her mid-sized dog. And that dog is sniffing at the grass, not paying attention to our dog, not paying attention to me. But the lady, I was about to walk away, but the lady says to me, "Don't you want to pet my dog?" And I looked at her, looked at the dog, and I quickly said, "No, thank you." And she got all offended. But the reason why I said that is because the dog was stretching the other way on the leash, didn't, for whatever reason, want to interact with me, wasn't making eye contact with me. Dog wasn't growling or barking. The tail wasn't down. I mean, none of those things that many people, surprisingly not as many people as you think, would pick up on. It was very subtle, but it was clear. This dog was telling me, for whatever the reason, maybe the dog was stretched the other way on the leash because that was the direction of home and the dog was hungry. Maybe the dog didn't like interacting with strangers and she was trying to change that by asking, "Would you pet my dog?" I have no idea. I never will know. Doesn't really matter. It occurred to me at that point, we've all been taught to ask, "Can I pet your dog?" And that is correct. But dogs are always talking to us as well. They're always, cats too, communicating with us.
Yes.
And this dog was communicating with me, and it gave me the idea. We've all been taught to ask, "Can I pet your dog?" But there's never been an initiative, ask the dog. So this book that I wrote, which is mostly geared to kids, but really adults too in many ways, is called Ask the Dog, because that's what I want people to do. I want people to pay attention to what their dog is saying. And sometimes that body language is clear. Sometimes it's pretty subtle. And people don't always pick up on that, not even with their own dog.
Yeah, I always, once I get human permission, turn in the dog and ask, "Okay, is it okay if I come over? Are you okay with this?" And they don't understand the words necessarily, but they understand the energy.
Yeah.
The actions, the energy.
Yeah. If a dog wants to interact with you, generally that dog will come up to you.
Right.
I mean, you're not that far away. It's not that. In this case, I was at one end of the block and I could barely see the dog. "Where are you?" At the other end of the block, we were standing just feet apart. And at that point in time, if the dog wanted to interact with me, the dog would have come up to me and sniffed me. One other thing I say in the book, among other things, is this, and I thought, oh my God, I'm going to get pushback on this. But in fact, the experts in behavior seem to like what I say here, as do dog trainers. And that is, we don't need to do this. We've been taught to do this, put our hands out into the dog's face. For one thing, it's not necessary. The dog can, and the notion is, well, that way the dog can smell you. Well, if I'm standing 3 feet away from the dog, I can assure you that dog can smell me. If I didn't wear deodorant that day, that dog knows it. If there's something wrong with me potentially, even though the dog has not met me before, if it's a stranger's dog, that dog may even know that. Dogs' sense of smell is something we can't even comprehend because it is so much, incredibly much more efficient than our own. When a dog sniffs at a blade of grass, that dog can get a whole world of information from another dog who may have peed, and some of that pee went on the glass, grass, and therefore understand, okay, the reproductive status of the dog who did it, whether the dog who did it is ill, not the exact age, but if that dog is a geriatric dog compared to an adult dog, compared to a puppy, and if that dog has diabetes, won't be able to say, well, that dog's diabetic, where's the insulin? No, but we'll know something is wrong with that dog, on and on and on, about their capabilities. I mean, dogs are used for search and rescue work that can even find people underwater, you know, so their sense of smell is so incredibly remarkable compared to ours. So
Steve, I'd like you to correct me about something.
Yes.
I was taught by animal lovers that a fist, first of all, is threatening to them anyway.
Yes.
To put
and rude.
To put my hand, Jeffrey, Mark, you know where the camera is, to put my hand out flat like that, not in their face, just here. If you'd like to smell me, I'm offering me to you. Now, am I wasting my time doing that as well?
Yep. There's no need.
Okay.
And if that dog, you know, dog bites are at a record high now. And we've never seen so much cynophobia. What the hell is that? That's fear of dogs. So according to the American Psychological Association, that has never been so high in children compared to what it is right now. So none of that is good. And if that dog is, and most aggressive dogs are actually afraid, but if that dog is, for whatever reason, a dog that may be a threat, you're asking that dog to bite you, you know, to a stranger. Now, to our own dogs,
right,
there's no need to do that for obvious reasons. I think our dogs they know us, they see us, they know who we are. For a stranger's dog, we don't need to do that.
Thank you.
We just don't need to do that.
I appreciate the correction.
Well,
is there a
go ahead.
Go ahead. I was going to say, is there a proper way to approach a strange dog?
Yeah. So you're reasonably close. Otherwise, you wouldn't be in a situation where you think about it, right?
Right.
But let the dog come to you. If that dog is interested in a positive way, sometimes in a not so positive way, but again, most aggressive dogs are actually fearful. So if you give them space, they're not going to be aggressive. There are exceptions, but a dog that wants to say hello will come up to you to say hello and initiate it. Then what I tell people to do is pet the dog, not like that, like little kids and sometimes adults do, bopping them on the head. Dogs actually don't like that, but to stroke them on their side, their flank, once, maybe twice. If the dog wants more, the dog will tell you.
True.
And animal behaviorists are now, I'm not the only one beginning to say that, are now beginning to say that because we better understand dogs than we did, say, 20 years ago. So the initiatives have been historically to socialize your dog. John Scott and John Fuller are the scientists that came up with that notion in the 1960s, and that dogs have this critical period of socialization when they're young. It's ideal and important, actually, to socialize them at this very small window, actually, between about, let me get dogs and cats mixed up here, between about 3 to 16 or 17 weeks. And if you miss that window, that dog won't be the same as if you don't miss that window. And how to socialize that dog, they came up with all of that. And that's important because dogs live with all of us in an environment where you're walking down the street and it's best for people and best for the dog if the dog is socialized. But the other thing is what I said earlier, and that is, can I pet your dog? And that's the other initiative. I'm not even sure where that came from. Nobody seems to know. It happened decades and decades ago. But now I've got that third initiative that I hope people take on, and that is ask the dog.
All right. For our friends who are watching and listening, how do we give us a couple of good examples of what, in a positive way, what to do?
To do with what?
How do you ask the dog?
Oh, just pay attention to what they're saying. So it's some of what I said before. Wait until the dog comes to you, all those things that I talked about. But dogs are always talking to us. So I can give you so many different examples. If the dog's tail is wagging, that means happy, but not always, actually. So if the dog's tail is wagging and the dog is straight out, the tail is straight out like this, and it's wagging like this really, really, really fast, especially if it's like lower, going really, really fast, that dog is hesitant, unsure, or afraid, or all the above. So the dog's tail is wagging, but the dog is not saying, I want to interact with you. A tail wag actually means excitement. But you can be excited, but not be happy. And dogs are absolutely the same way. A dog that rolls over on its belly can be saying, and often is, pet me here, give me a belly rub. But a stranger's dog doing that to you might be saying, no, I feel uncomfortable, actually. And if you rub my belly, I might even pee because I am that afraid. So that can be a fearful dog. And fearful dogs, by the way, it doesn't mean the dog will bite, but fearful dogs are the ones that can bite or be more likely to bite. A dog that raises a paw up like that could mean the pavement, if you're outside, the pavement is really, really hot or really, really cold. But most likely it means that that dog is tentative and kind of afraid as well. So all of these signals, and I can go on with more of them, a lot of people just don't know. Or we are so tempted, we know it if we think about it, but that dog is so darn cute, you cannot help it. And because there is this hard wiring between human beings and dogs. That is why when we walk, that's why pet stores are successful, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I wish they didn't sell dogs because so many of them are from puppy mills. But nevertheless, that's why they're so successful at that. What did Doris say about that doggy? How much is that doggy in the window?
Arf, arf.
Yeah. And it's actually called neoteny. There's a fancy name for it. And it's dogs that have been bred, if you think about it, in some ways, this is going to sound weird, but it's true. Look it up. To look like human babies. They've got big foreheads. They've got big round eyes. So do primates. And that's not an accident that we bred dogs, some dogs, to look like that.
You brought up eyes. I was always taught never look a dog in the eyes, you're going to scare them. But my experience is if I look a dog in the eye and smile at them, they seem to relax. Now, is that just me, or am I doing the wrong thing again?
Well, what Ben said and what you said earlier about energy is true. Dogs do pick up on, I don't know if energy is quite the right word or not, but they do pick up on our emotions.
Yeah.
And they're so good at it, especially if it's our own dog. So, but even dogs who don't know you. So you can fool, Jeffrey, you're a good actor.
Thank you.
You can walk on stage and play a role. You can't to your dog. Your dog will see right through it.
Absolutely.
I don't care if you're Meryl Streep, not that you are Meryl Streep. It doesn't matter how good you are. That dog is going to see right through it or feel right through it, might be a better way to say it. So a dog who lives with you, try this at home, friends, if you have a dog. Pick up the telephone. Well, I'm dating myself a bit there. So use your cell phone and begin yelling it into the phone like you're talking to the cable company, because that's who we yell most to, I think, on the phone. And your dog will do one of two things. Your dog will either walk out of the room because your dog is so uncomfortable, or come to console you. Dogs do know when we're hardwired. We actually evolved with dogs, and there's an amazing story about that if you guys have time.
We have all the time you want.
So Cro-Magnon, at some point, at least this is the thought, we're kind of sloppy. And it's kind of like who we are today, too, in some ways. So lived in these communities in rudimentary huts or caves. And outside of the community was the trash and the latrine which attracted rodents and other animals as well, including wolves. Wolves mostly to eat scraps, but also to catch the rodents that were around. And also what they would do, they communicated, and it's a species of wolf, one particular species I'm talking about that no longer exists today. They went extinct many, many, many thousands of years ago, but it's thought would do what wolves do today and communicate with one another about all sorts of things, including when danger is around. So when the saber-toothed big thing came, they'd warn one another. In warning one another, the humans were warned too, or the humanoids. They were Cro-Magnon at that time. It is thought that bold individuals became more and more acclimated to humans, and humans said, essentially, this is a good thing for us. We get an early warning signal. We get a sanitation crew. This isn't bad. And over the course of time, and I mean thousands of years, we began to selectively accept these animals in, these wolves. They weren't dogs yet by any means, but we still did one thing. So it's been suggested that dogs have gone, and there's truth to this, from outside from our yards into our homes and onto our beds. Well, actually, if you look at the evidence, we shared space with dogs we slept with them all those thousands of years ago. Now, was it mostly because they kept us warm? The 3-dog night thing? I don't know. But imagine, here is a dog. It's not even a dog. It's still like a wolf, maybe a wolf dog at that point. And this animal could eat your babies, but yet we trusted them. And vice versa. They trusted us with their pups. Now, I am sure there probably were instances where it didn't go well and they ate the baby, but then that animal would be destroyed for being aggressive. And that's where selectivity continues to come in. And we selected for more and more animals that understood us, and we understood them. And eventually we hunted with them because they could do things we couldn't do. They ran faster and they smell better. I don't mean they smell better. They weren't wearing cologne, but they could sniff out what was around better than we could, or better than our eyesight. They could see around. We didn't have to see around the corner. They could smell there was something there for us to eat, or something we should be afraid of that could eat us. So it was the first relationship that any two predatory species, and it still exists, of course, had on the planet ever. Now, the coolest thing about that story, while all this is happening, Neanderthals, who experts tell me weren't the big brutes that everyone depicted them as in the movies, but in fact, they were hunter-gatherers as well, but they were more gatherers than hunters. And one of the big differences, in fact, the most significant difference between them, Neanderthals and Cro-Magnon, is Neanderthals didn't have these dogs. So along come changes in weather, including the Ice Age. Both species kind of survived that. But the Neanderthals disappeared quickly after. The biggest difference, they didn't have dogs. We did. So I suggest if it wasn't for dogs, we would not be here today.
I'm going to shift a little bit. You did not know this, although I'm sure you will not be surprised. Hello.
Yep.
That while you've been talking more than once, your beautiful cat was video bombing you behind your back. We've been talking about dogs. Can we talk about interactions with cats? Because I know I can hear our friends out there saying, yeah, but what about cats? So please.
I love talking. I love talking about cats. So I'm on the board of directors on several organizations, but I am so proud of being a part of the Every Cat Health Foundation. If you love cats, thank the Every Cat Health Foundation, a nonprofit that funds cat health studies, and that's all, and educate. It's all we do, and have been doing for long before I was on the board, about to celebrate 60 years of doing this. It's the only organization like it on the planet. And within the past couple of years, this has happened. feline infectious peritonitis, or FIP, a fatal disease in cats. Wasn't even described 30 years ago or however many years ago, because it's such a complicated disease that I won't go into now. We funded studies to first understand what FIP is, but then at some point in time to hopefully find a solution. And Dr. Niels Peterson, University of California, Davis, came to our scientific advisors and said, I think I've got a drug, just like that. And that drug turns out to work. I'm shortening the story a great deal, but it's amazing. This once fatal disease that killed millions of cats all over the world, mostly kittens, which makes it all the more tragic, is now treatable. I was the guy that made the announcement at a symposium at the University of California, Davis, actually. And I look out into the audience and tears are in the eyes of every veteran, these hardened veterinarians from all over the world who at some point in time, most of them studied FIP. And now I'm making this announcement. That drug, by the way, turned out to save human lives too. Drug called remdesivir, because FIP, or the feline infectious peritonitis, is caused in part by a coronavirus, feline coronavirus. And when the coronavirus, the novel coronavirus, created the pandemic in 2019, doctors from all over the world said, oh, what can we do? There aren't enough antivirals. We tried this one. None of them seemed to work. Remdesivir is a drug that was used years ago for Ebola virus, but it failed. It really didn't do well. Didn't help people. Sat on a shelf. We used it for cats. They looked at the study and said, or studies, and said, you know, cats are not people, but we're desperate. It's worth a try. And remdesivir is still used today to help people who have more severe COVID-19. And that drug wouldn't be available, or no one would have thought about it, I don't believe, if it wasn't for the Every Cat Health Foundation, whose board I'm on, if it wasn't for Dr. Peterson himself, and if it wasn't for cats getting FIP. It's really, I think, quite an incredible story.
It's an incredible story, but again, I'm hearing the fans interacting with cats socially. Give us some hints.
Cats are not asocial. They are not antisocial. So that's fake news.
Right.
That's just not true.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, cats are very social. Now, they're not social hunters. So the fancy term is facultatively social, if you want to be fancy, for what they are. So they're not social like dogs are. They're not social like we are, but they are social. And when they live outdoors, for the most part, they live in colonies, you know, feral cats or community cats. That's not because the government says you have to live with other cats. It's because they make that choice on their own.
Right.
And they make that choice on their own for all sorts of different reasons. But nevertheless, they are social animals. So when they live in our homes, that's no different. They need us. They don't need us in the same way dogs do. We take our cat out in a stroller, and we used to get looks in the neighborhood. Now other people do it so often that no one pays any attention whatsoever. But you don't need to do that necessarily. But what you do need to do is interact with the cat, with interactive cat toys and such. I think once or twice a day, always, because they need that activity. They are still hardwired to have a prey drive, so they need something to go after as if they were outdoors. Safer indoors, better indoors. I feel strongly about that, but they are still cats. And being fundamentally cats, they are born with that prey drive.
Yep.
Why do cats bite people they love?
Sometimes it's that so-called love bite that we talk about. So there's a couple of reasons for this. Sometimes we take in kittens that haven't been, you know, they're found outside, they've been abandoned. They've not learned what's called bite inhibition. And we could try to teach them that. And there are all sorts of things you could do, like, ouch, when the little kitten bites. But you can't replicate, you're still not a cat. And you can't replicate it as well as a mother. So sometimes, for the best of all intents, and I'm not saying we shouldn't take in these kittens, but I am saying they don't learn as effectively not to do it, or it takes much longer for them to do it. Sometimes it's a way to get our attention. It works. I'm hungry. So if I'm hungry, and every time I'm hungry, I sing, I don't know, Jeffrey, hello, Dolly. Well, hello. And if I sang it the way I sing it, you would do anything I want you to do because of the way I sing, Jeffrey. So therefore,
no, I wouldn't.
Food,
except to get you to stop. Yes.
yes. Instantly. You would say,
Instantly.
stop.
Right.
And do anything. So it gets our attention. It really does work. Another reason for it, though, is that an individual cat may not have the opportunity to play. And that's why that opportunity to play and go after feather toys or things they can bite at is so very important, because if they don't have that, they will sometimes turn to choose us. It's not personal. They just need an outlet, and they have no other outlet. So those are 3 reasons as to why they do it.
Is that why when you're playing with them and they're purring and you think everyone's having a good time, and then from nowhere, and they jump away from you, and you go, what did I do? What did I do?
Probably nothing. Cats are just sometimes.
Cats.
Yep. So you're right about that.
I actually have a question, because you were talking about, the cats and playing with cats and stuff like that. So everybody knows, like, you can own one dog and pat the dog and the dog's playful. Do you think it's better to own more than one cat, like a pair, so that they can interact with each other? Because you did say that, cats out on the street, they run in packs. That's a big difference between cats and dogs, I would assume. Or am I just making an ass out of myself?
No. It's actually a really good question. And one of the reasons that I didn't actually offer is that when there are 2 cats in the house, so if you adopt a kitten, please don't adopt 2. And the reason for that is they will have one another, and they can do all of those things, and the rolling and the playing and the chasing. They don't have to choose you to do those things. They will bite each other. And when they do that, they quickly learn the play stops. That's no fun. So I bit too hard. I'm not going to do that the next time. They instantly learn that. It's quite incredible. Hello, little Ben, or whoever that is.
No, this is my granddaughter.
I see. She's beautiful.
Yeah. You want to put that in?
Hi, Lila.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, Lila. Lila, do you love dogs?
Do you like dogs?
Yes.
Yes.
Does it look like a book you'd like?
Mhm.
Would you like a book like that?
Yeah.
Does Nano have to get you one?
Yeah.
Okay.
I just made
But
a sentence that.
Tell him, say, I had a doggy and I have 2 kitties.
2 teddies.
What are their
Yeah.
names, Lila?
Can you say, what's doggy's name? Terry.
Terry,
And the kitty is Fritz
Fritz,
and Frida.
Frida.
Good girl.
Fritz and Frida, and
What? Go ahead.
Get
your finger out of your mouth.
Yeah.
That's yucky. You just had dinner. All right. Did you just come say hi to me? Can I have a beso? I love you.
Oh.
Okay.
Do you have a dog named Snoopy?
Why are you pink juice?
Oh, my pink juice?
Hmm?
Yeah, have some. I took the headset back.
So this is really the secret to getting viewers.
Love you, baby.
Podcast. Bring in a cute kid.
She chooses this by herself. She wants this.
Yeah, it started, I want to say, like 6 or 8 months ago. She's 3.5. I have 2 granddaughters that are both 3.5. They were born 9 days apart. 2 daughters. This one lives with us, with her mom. But she is so super smart that my wife, when she's home, or her mom, they have this on the TV upstairs. So she had to come down one time to make sure that Nano was here in the house.
So
And
I'm on the
now-
TV in your house.
No, because my wife's not home and my daughter just got home a few minutes ago. So you're probably not on right now, but you will be later.
Yeah, I hope. It's
Long
the
story
podcast.
Yeah, long story short, about a month ago, Jeffrey, I think it was, where I was upstairs with her. I said, Nano's going to go do his show tonight, honey. I'll see you in a little while. She said, no, Nano. That's Yaya's show. I said, "Oh, that's your show." She said, "Yes." I said, "Well, I'll tell you what. Towards the end of the show, I'll text you. Mama can let you come down." So I heard her come home. They were eating dinner, and she just appeared. So, hello.
Yeah, he's raising a smart, beautiful little ham.
Yeah. That speaks 2 languages.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because her biological father is Guatemalan, so it's a form of Spanish.
Sure.
And my daughter's significant other now is Puerto Rican, Dominican. Either way, it's Spanish.
Okay.
So she's learning Spanish. So
I think that's you know what? I think every kid should. And
I agree.
This is the age to do it, right? So I could speak Spanish well with her because I speak Spanish like a 4th grader, maybe.
So she could probably speak Spanish better.
Yep.
She'll say something.
Yeah,
I'm lost.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
I was brought up in a multilingual home, so I learned them both at the same time, and it's much easier that way.
Absolutely. Right. Do you still speak Spanish, Jeffrey?
I didn't say it was Spanish.
Oh.
I grew up in a home where Yiddish was spoken half the time.
Oy.
So I learned them both at the same time, and out of self-preservation, I had to know what they were saying about me. So
yeah. See, now mine's the reverse. I wish I had paid attention in Spanish class a little bit more.
Same. Yep. Same.
Steve, you and your lovely wife Robin travel a lot. I would say a lot, because every other day there's a picture of you eating some fabulous meal in some airport in the lounge.
Well, the travel I'm not going to do as much down the road, but I'm very fortunate. And I love speaking. So I speak at veterinary conferences and animal welfare meetings. So ask me to speak, I'll probably say yes. I enjoy doing it. I've spoken this year. I spoke at 4 cat shows. So if you ask me to come, I'll probably be there talking about my favorite thing to talk about, dogs and cats.
So speaking of dogs and cats, you have a show called Steve Dale's Pet World, if I'm not mistaken, which is on the radio, WGN. Am I correct in that?
Totally. And people can also listen at WGNradio.com. So I've got a pet show, but I also have a general radio show. And on the general radio show, that's where I talk to people like Jeffrey. And I talk about all sorts of different topics. So I'm trying to think of what I've got. So this coming week, there's a mayoral election that's going to happen in Chicago. Last time around, it was, 4 years ago at this point, and I had our current mayor on, but everyone else running for mayor, which was a parade of people. There must have been a dozen people running for mayor. We may not reach that number this time around, but it might be close to that. And one of them is U.S. Representative Mike Quigley, and he will be in studio with me on Sunday. I'm talking to a restaurateur as well. I'm trying to think of what else I have on. I don't honestly remember, but I have a variety of different people on and talk about a variety of different topics. Ted. Oh, this guy, actually, Nick Offerman. I'll promote his book because I happen to have it within reach, coincidentally. He's in Parks and Recreation, and he's in a play in Chicago. As I talk to a lot of the entertainers who are in shows in town. And it's very good, by the way. It's I think it's going to go to Broadway. It's what did I call it? Not a wacky comedy. I can't think of how I put it, but it's like a a vaudeville show of sorts. And it's Madcap, I think is what I called it. And Megan Mullally, his wife, is in the show. From Will and Grace is where people know her the most. Mm-hmm. And the cast is wonderful and all top-notch people. She is like, watching her is like watching a lesson in comedy because she is so good.
She is.
So this role in Iceman, that's the name of the show, was made for her. The show makes no sense. I mean, if I had seen the Three Stooges or the Marx Brothers or something like that on stage, it's kind of in that vein. Wacky, crazy things happen for no particular reason. There's a very loose plot, but boy, loose is the right word for it. As
It sounds like this show.
a little bit. No. It's the plot of the show has something to do with this iceberg that was discovered, or chunk of ice, in which a human cave person, Ice Boy, is in it, and they defrost him, and he comes out and comes alive, and supposed to be like thousands of years old or whatever, and quickly learns to talk, and mayhem ensues is the best way I'll put it. But it's so good, and she is so good. Anyway, he is going. Nick Offerman, her husband, will be on the show Sunday as well.
Question for you, sir. I have a serious question, a little kind of serious. You have all of these wonderful talents. Interviewing people well is a very specific talent. You've had me on talking about some very serious things. I think last time we were talking about Rob Reiner's murder.
Yeah, I remember.
Where did you? It's a skill you can't like read a book, or you can't even really take a class. You either are born with it and you hone it, or you don't. How did you hone it? Because it's born in you.
I don't know. Thank you for saying that, but I don't know. You'd have to ask my boss. I mean, I have no idea if I'm still there. I've been at this radio station. This will be my 25th year coming up. So I guess I'm doing something right, but I don't know.
When Rob was killed, they had me on CNN. I did you the next. I'd seen it. Yeah, I did you the next day. The difference in professionalism and insight between what they said and what you said was night and day. In your favor.
No, that's so nice of you to say. That's
well, you know, I'm a fan as well as a friend, so you know.
Yeah, you know, I just interviewed, who was it? It was someone from an animal shelter, so it was for the pet show. And we taped the interview. And at the end, she had assumed I pressed the stop button, and I hadn't. And she said,
those.
We've done that.
What she said was okay. She said, "This is the best interview I've ever done." I cannot tell you how many entertainers and others who are interviewed all the time have said that kind of thing to me. And I don't know, you know. The other thing is that the best compliment for me is that Jeffrey will come back. He's a good guest, and that he'll come back because I did it right, or I was okay the first time around.
I do probably a year, probably 100 interviews a year, maybe 150 every year for all these years.
I'm sure you do.
And you have favorite people like, oh, yes, I'll clear my schedule for you. You're one of those people.
Well, thank you. You know,
and I had to get up at like 5 o'clock in the morning or 4 o'clock in the morning because your show was on first thing in the morning, Chicago time, which means out here on the West Coast, you know, I'm bleary-eyed, but I'm there. Yeah.
Well, let me talk to Ben for a moment. Ben, I'm on from 1 to 3. So if he's on even at 1 o'clock, that's 11 a.m. So I don't know what to say.
Trust me, I'm south of Boston, so I know exactly what you're saying because I produced another show for Mr. Mark, and he's like, "Well, 11:30 my time, so 11:30 works," and I'm like, "But that's like 2:30 here.
Yeah,
what are you doing to me?" It's like in the middle of my day. And he's like, "But I'm just getting up." But I love him anyways.
Hey, I spent my life on the Broadway stage and in nightclubs. That's my schedule.
Yeah. It's okay. It's okay. I'm having a blast here. So
see,
I
told Ben this is going to be a lot.
I do want to touch a little bit real fast where you said that, you know, it's when you hear that was one of the best interviews, or that was the best interview. You either have it or you don't.
I don't know.
You know, I mean, no, and I relate to that because we ask people to write brief testimonials. Some of them do, some of them don't. But 7 years ago, when this all started with me and my other business partner, who's on a hiatus, he would have been the third host. We were doing the show traveling at conventions because we actually wrote a novel series that turned into a comic book series, that turned into a TV series, that turned into a brief animation, which this spun out of. And I was sitting on stage with Lisa Loring, God rest her soul, and I was interviewing her. At the end of the interview, still recording, she looked over and she said, out of all the interviews I've ever done,
Wow,
this was the best. I nearly fell off the stage. And that was at the beginning. And we've gotten those compliments over the last 7 years. So that tells me, yay, the show's on the right track. Because Steve has been doing it a lot longer and he's getting those compliments. So it's just nice to know that we're kind of on the right track.
Oh,
And Lisa Loring gave me my first kiss on my lips when I was 7. When she was in the Addams Family.
well, I've got to hear that. I've got to hear that story. What was that about? You were were you in the house at the time, the Addams Family house?
Well,
And
I wasn't on the I wasn't on the show, but Lisa and I went to school together.
Uh-huh.
And Lisa, even then, had issues. She would show up in school in paper dresses and plastic dresses and call everybody darling. This little 7-year-old kid. And she was way behind in her education. So I would do her homework for her so she wouldn't fail. So she would kiss me. And no, I've sat on Lurch's shoulders. I knew Uncle Fester. I sometime we'll talk about my connection to the Addams Family, but Lisa gave me my first kiss and I got to interview her years and years and years later, decades later, when I produced and hosted a documentary about the Addams Family for TLC. And unfortunately, her life was about as sad as I thought it might be even back then.
Right.
Did you actually know Thing?
Yes, of course I did, because Thing's arm was Ted Cassidy.
Oh, I know you're not supposed to tell me that. Now that's like telling me that. I don't know,
But I sat on Ted Cassidy's shoulders in his Lurch makeup and everything.
did
He
you
liked he liked me and put me up on his shoulders and danced around. He was a lovely, lovely man.
And God, what's his name? The Aston, John Aston. He's
Yeah.
still alive, right?
Yeah, he's way in his 90s.
Yeah. How is he?
Living on his own still.
Good.
He lives outside of Baltimore.
Oh, really? He's not in Hollywood.
No, he hasn't been for a while. He lives outside of Baltimore, and I know Sean because of my connection to the Arnaz family.
Yeah. And how about Carolyn Jones, who
She's
was
dead.
Yeah, I know that. Morticia.
I never got to meet her. I met everybody else but her.
I hear she was very pretty, actually.
Oh, she was gorgeous.
Jeffrey.
Yeah.
What?
Jeffrey goes, she's dead. No shit. You missed the question.
I'm
So
a
we can talk about
comedian, boys. Come on.
Oh, crap. But the show's
and-
not about Jeffrey Mark. The show's
and-
about
and-
Steve Dale, folks. And
Yes.
if you want to know
Sorry.
more about Steve, his books, his podcast, his radio shows, check the show notes up above, down below, depending on where you're watching or listening to this. It's all there. The links are there. It's very simple. Order his books. It's that simple. So I'm
And to
going to
bring-
say about it.
And to bring what we just said around back to animals, Ken Weatherwax, who played Pugsley, his uncle Rudd owned and
Oh,
trained
yeah.
Lassie.
Yeah, that I knew. Yeah. I interviewed him once or twice, 3 times. I don't know. I don't remember.
A
but
lady.
yeah, I met what? So I have a record. So there's a pet parade just outside Chicago in a suburb called LaGrange. It is like Mayberry. You know, everybody
Yeah.
comes out. And it's a very sweet thing. People walk with their dog. One year, I was frightened because in a red flyer wagon, the little boy was walking his dog, the red flyer wagon behind him with a fish tank. It was a goldfish, and the water was going whoosh, 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 whoosh. So I hope the goldfish made it to the end of the parade. All these years later, I remember that. But I was the grand marshal for that parade for 7 years, I'll say. It could be 6 years, whatever the number. But Lassie was one less year than me. So I overtook Lassie for that record.
There you go.
That's one of my claims to fame.
Yeah. Lassie was, I got to meet Lassie unfortunately, at Rusty Hamer's funeral. And very skittish. Of course, it's a boy. And the owners, Rudd's, I guess, grandchildren, brought Lassie. I was the only human that Lassie would interact with. And they said, he doesn't like strangers. How come he likes? I said, I don't know. I just looked him in the eye and said hi, and he was in my lap practically.
Positive energy.
Yeah.
Positive energy.
Yeah.
They can tell. We talked about this, folks. We talked about this earlier in the show. So if you missed it, rewind the damn show and watch that. Watch that clip. We talked about how dogs pick up on.
They do.
What you're putting down. If you're a good person, they know it. If you're a POS, they know it. If they bite you, you deserved it.
Sometimes. Now, those are not, by the way, my exact words.
No, those were my words.
Yeah. I'm glad they are. So let me, one more thing that comes to mind. It's not a Lassie story. Remember Benji and all the Benji movies?
Sure.
So I knew Benji.
Mr. Higgins.
Yeah. And in real life, the trainer's name was Joe Camp. I think his first name was Joe. I haven't talked to him in years. A horse guy, really, more than dog guy. But he is the guy who came up with the idea, produced the Benji movies that became a bigger deal than he ever thought. And those are wonderful, wonderful movies. And he did one last Benji movie. He did a national search for that dog. I helped promote it or whatever I did. One day we get a call when we had landlines and pick up the phone at like 2 a.m. Now, when you get a call 2 a.m, at least, my heart was like, who's sick?
Right.
So picked up the phone and it's Joe, I'm sure. Joe Camp, nicest man ever. He says, Steve, look out the window. I said, what do you mean? He said, it's storming. They diverted us to Chicago. There's no hotel room. Can we? I said, is Benji with you? He said, yes. I said, of course. So I told my wife to get dressed. And I figured she would wear like an evening gown or something. Benji is coming. This is the most amazing thing ever. It's Benji. So she doesn't. She puts on a robe. But anyway, and I go outside. I should have put on a tuxedo, right? I expect a limousine to come with Benji. It's a taxi. And Benji steps out and then squats. But I'm ready. I've got a plastic bag. But it's storming outside. I mean, really, really bad storm. I pick up the in the bag. I pick up the bag and it blows right out of my arms across the street into the park. So I'm thinking if somebody finds that, they could resell it on eBay for a whole lot of money because it's Benji's. So Benji comes to our house, does the sleepover. I expect Benji's going to vacuum, do the dishes. And it's Benji. Benji didn't do any of that, but was a very wonderful house guest. And that's my Benji story.
The original Benji in the very first film was the same dog who played Dog on Petticoat Junction.
Yes,
yeah.
I actually do know that. Did you know B. Benaderet?
I met her son. B died when I was like 10, so I wasn't close to Hollywood yet.
Yeah,
but what a wonderful actress, and those animals on those shows. That dog was incredibly smart.
So the guy who trained that dog is the guy I'm talking about.
Yeah,
or at least a younger version of the guy I'm talking about. Yes.
Is there anything we've covered that you'd like to cover? Because we're taking up way too much of your time, my friend.
Oh no, I'm happy to do this. Folks can, and I hope you do, sign up for my newsletter, which is my favorite 4-letter word, free, at stevedale.tv. It's all about pets. But when I interview a celebrity, a link is found there as well. Or you can follow me in social media. Facebook, the cat you mentioned, Groucho _ the funny cat, because he has a mustache. Has to be Groucho. He has a TikTok page, and you could find him there as well. So, do you know Frank Ferrante?
Yes.
Oh, do you really?
Sure.
Nicest guy ever. Frank then played on Broadway or off Broadway originally, and then in the West End, on the West End, at the West End in London.
On the West End.
What?
On the West End.
Thank you. Played Groucho.
Yes.
In a play that was the Marx Brothers, and the other brothers were played by other actors. But for all these years, he has continued to play and does play Groucho. And he's coming to St. Charles, Illinois, actually, but he's performed in Chicago multiple times. And we had him over to the house at one point, so Groucho could meet Groucho. So Groucho, Frank Ferrante, put on his mustache and did this, and he met our cat, who every day has a mustache and does that as well. So they two met each other. Great.
No, Frank is a great talent and a nice man.
Yes, absolutely, so true. And the thing about you and he and some other people I know is they tell me stories, these showbiz stories that are like, wow, I just love it.
Well, sir, hopefully when my new album comes out at the end of September, you'll have me on to plug it.
New album?
Yes.
What's that?
Jeffrey, it's a disc that plays music. Jeffrey.
Oh, it's not an 8-track? It's not one of those big things you stick in the car with the tape in it?
No. Jeffrey Mark sings the Ella Fitzgerald songbook, 14 songs with a big band, and hopefully everybody will love it.
Wow. I did not know that was happening. I thought maybe it would be hip hop, but I'll accept what you do. I'll accept it. That sounds good.
Thank you. I know I'm a jazz singer.
Yeah, I know. And this is great. So yes, of course I'll have you on. When is it expected to come out? What is the name of the CD?
Jeffrey Mark sings the Ella Fitzgerald songbook, end of September.
Not too far away.
No, that's why I'm asking.
Yeah, so of course I'll have you on. And will this be available wherever you get your music?
This will be available electronically. It'll be available in CD form. Wherever you get your music, you'll be able to get a copy.
Okay, so I will go to, I'm Apple Music myself. So I'll go to iTunes and download it, and I'll put you on the radio, and we'll play some songs.
Cool, man.
Yeah.
So, see, personally, folks, I would order the hard copy of anything, because then you can reach out and say, would you please sign that? And the reason I say that is check the show notes up above or down below. Steve has more than just one book.
I do.
But this is the newest book, Ask the Dog. And if you want to know what that's about, folks, and you missed it, again, rewind the show. Or hit the pause button, rewind the podcast. One of the two. Either way, it's all there. All his information's there. Mr. Jeffrey Mark, we have kept this amazing gentleman way past his time. His bourbon is empty. He needs to refill. He probably has to use the bathroom because he's like me. Do you have a last question for this amazing guest?
No, I don't. Other than, Steve, I adore you. You're a wonderful guy. I love being on with you. I'm so happy you were able to be on with us.
Well, thank you. Thank you. My goal is to meet you in person at some time. We've not done that. And Ben, great host. Thank you so much.
Appreciate that. So I generally never ask a last question, but seeing how Mr. Mark diverted, I want to know, other than cats, dogs, radios, touring, TV shows, what does Steve Dale geek out about? Something that not a lot of people might know. For instance, we've had guests on that geek out over sunken ships. They geek out over the solar system. What does Steve Dale geek out about?
We were once asked a similar question about 150 or 200 of us in a room, and we were told to write it down. And my friend, Dr. Marty Becker, and I wrote the same answer. And we both said our wives.
Aw.
It's true.
Well, there you go. There you go. I don't think we've ever had that answer.
Yeah, Robin is a winner. Believe me.
Well, yeah, way above my stand. Yeah, I got lucky somehow, and I mean that in more than one way.
So, folks, Steve has already shared this information, but we're going to do it again because that's how we end our shows as we go through the people. Steve, where do you like interacting with your fans on the social medias? Your website, your social media platforms, plug them again.
Sure. You can find me on Facebook. I just type in my name, Steve Dale. I am on X, Steve Dale Pet World, I believe. I'm on Insta as well. Steve Dale Pets, I think is that. You can find me. You might have to do a little work there. I do know for TikTok, it's Groucho, because it's not me, it's our cat, Groucho, _ the funny cat. And he is that, actually. He lives up to his name. And my website is stevedale.tv. And I podcast everything I do. So when I interview Jeffrey or whoever it is I interview in the pet world or not, that appears on my website ultimately. And I write stories as well. Pet news, any pet news. There's a new treatment for a disease in cats. I just wrote about that today. So whatever the news is in the pet world, I do write about that as well.
There you go, folks. Mr. Jeffrey Mark.
Yes, sir. Jeffrey Mark, as it is spelled right below me here, or if you're listening and not watching, GEOFFREYMARK. On Facebook, Jeffrey Mark Showbiz, all one word, on Instagram. And hey, if you're having a good time with us today, Mr. Bartlett produces another podcast for me. Jeffrey Mark Plays Ella, GPE. Every week we play Ella Fitzgerald's music on a theme, and I give you all the insider information about the music, the songs, and Miss Ella herself. Those are released every Sunday in time for brunch, depending on where you are living. So please join us for that.
Yay. So we want to thank Steve for taking time out of his extremely busy schedule, which it is, to sit up here, chat. Hopefully you learned something. I mean, I did. That's why I have 2 cats. Not one, two cats. Then they leave me alone until they both are hungry and they both bat the back of my legs like they did 10 minutes ago. Check the show notes again up above or down below, depending on where you're watching or listening. All his information's there. As far as us in these amazing shows and everything outside of the shows that my other half, Jeff Holman, who is on hiatus, and I have done, stilltoking.com. Still Toking Productions on YouTube, Toking with the Dead on Facebook, Still Toking Productions on Facebook. You can just go to stilltoking.com. It's all there. Everything. Novel, TV series, cartoon, all these shows, 7 seasons. They're all there. You can watch your favorites. You can see what people say about us. To all our veterans and first responders, we want to thank you for doing what you do so people like us can come up here and do what we do. Stay safe. We'll see you next week. We're out of here.
God bless and have a happy.